evening, everyone. I hope this is working. We've got a bit of a storm outside, so if you kind of hear a lot of racket, that's what it is. But I hope that everyone's doing well and that your week has been great. Despite the weather, it's been pretty good here also. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? I hope you've had a good week yourself. So, where are we on the overall plan? So we're into turn 6, but let's have a quick recap of what happened last week. So overall, I'm trying to remember, there's been quite a lot going on. We had, over the last couple of turns, we had the Prussians manage to get their breachhead across the river here. We had the Russians put their pontoon bridge across, which made the French's defensive position untenable, so they started withdrawing north. The orders for the coalition in this region were for the Austrians to pursue, whilst the Russians and Prussians were still to advance to the west to then hopefully either threaten supply lines or be able to move up towards Paris. In the west, we'll go there first, we had Ney, who had moved down and was cut off. You had coalition troops who had moved around to encircle him, and they'd left a holding, like blocking force in Joinville. He attacked and was able to force them back, which then opened up his options in this region, and his orders were to try and link up with Napoleon in the center, whilst Blucher and his Russian allies here tried to give pursuit, but unfortunately, due to some of the random events, everything got confused and disorganized for them, so they hardly made any progress. But then last turn, hey, Luke, good to have you with us. Yeah, last turn in the center is where the big situation occurred, I guess is probably the best way to put it. We had the Austrians, Russians, and Prussians who were ordered to move to a central position. And Napoleon, seeing his opportunity for the second turn in a row, struck down. Although the Allies were moving in more of a defensive position, formation, I should say. So 2 of their corps were able to fight from the start of the battle. The Austrians would be coming back as reinforcements. It was a tough fight. The French did lose quite a lot of troops, no question about it. But overall, the coalition forces were beaten. So the Austrians withdrew, and the Russians were able to escape and just cross the river at Arcis-sur-Aube. I'm not sure if I butchered that, but yes, there. So that's kind of our strategic situation at the end of turn 5, and now we will move into turn 6, unless anyone's got any questions or anything they want me to cover off before we start. But for turn 6, the dates for this period are February the 28th to the 6th of March. And last turn, I did make a mistake when it came to initiative. I realized that I only rolled once for the whole thing instead of doing it for every single area. So this time we've got each of them written up to remind myself. Obviously in the Eastern, there's only coalition, so they just get to go first or simultaneously with anyone else. What's the town next to the French reinforcements? That one there is Cézanne or Cézanne. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yes, that's that. Or if you're talking about that one, it's Guignes or Guignes. I'm glad we don't have any French people on, because they'd probably be horrified by my pronunciation of their towns. But yeah, that's those. And that one there is Montmirail or Montmirail, something. Yeah. I hope they're the ones you're asking about. No one's going to judge on French. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Cool. So turn 6, initiative. So as I said, in the east, it's just going to go straight to the Prussians / Blucher, because he is the only one there. In the center, let's roll for our initiative. So central, we've got Napoleon on 6, Schwarzenberg on 5. So, there we go. 4 + 5 gives them 9. So it's going to be a draw. 3 + 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, a draw in the center. Okay, that's interesting. So they'll be able to move. Well, based off of our thing here, if it's a draw, the French can move 2. So any two of their corps. Bear in mind, there's two basically there. They've got 4 in total. The French are going to be able to move 2, and then everyone else is simultaneous. Can I order the reinforcement unit at Cezanne? This one. So I'm just trying to read the comments. No one's going to judge you. Can I order the reinforcement unit at... Yes, you can. That's no worries. Cool. So that's the central area. And then for our sort of southern/western area, we've got a French 5. Okay, French have initiative down there. Okay. So that's that. Next up, so as from the end of last turn, we rolled for the weather, and so this turn we got clear as our result. I'm thinking we might just roll now to do the weather for the next turn, so that way it's all written down and I don't forget to do it for next time. So this turn is clear, and next turn is a 35, and we're now into March. Heavy rain. This weather does not want to settle. Okay, so it'll be turn 7, heavy rain. Cool. Or not cool, whatever the situation might be. Cool, so that's that. However, due to the fact that it was heavy rain last turn, movement is still going to be reduced this turn, despite the clear weather. It'll be like the effects of light rain instead, so that movement reduced by 2. So there we go, 5 centimeters on the strategic map instead of 7. I know, it's a pain in the neck, this rain. Cool. Next up, we've got historical event. So turn 6. Napoleon's disrupted supply lines, which in our event, he's actually got quite good supply lines. But historically, disrupted supply lines due to the coalition advance. Late February, early March. While Napoleon's army was winning battles, which he's doing, the coalition's continued push towards Paris strained French supply resources. Strategic effect, the French player faces restricted reinforcement options for the next 2 turns, representing the strain of sustaining a prolonged defense while the coalition advances. So there will be no French reinforcements for the next 2 turns, which I don't think is very good for the French. Let's just see what they were supposed to have. So turn 6, they were supposed to get 2 infantry regiments, and turn 7, 1 cavalry regiment. So they won't be getting those now. So that's good news for the coalition, not so good for the French. This turn, the coalition will be getting 1 cav and 1 artillery, and next turn they'll be getting 1 infantry. So yeah, I'm just going to give the coalition a good sort of breather and a boost of troops. The Russian and Prussians are eating up everything in the countryside. Yes, they are. So they're doing fine. All of that area is turning into a barren wasteland. On to the random events. Cool. So French random events. Where's my D20? Let's see what we can get this turn. A 3. Okay, so 3. Forced march. Due to urgent orders, a selected division or corps on the strategic map can move twice its normal distance, but suffers -8 cohesion for the turn. Oh, okay. So forced march. French random is a forced march. Although it will be obviously halved. Their distance will be reduced because of the wet weather, but yes, that's number 3. Cool. And coalition. So also keep that in mind, Luke, for when it's the movement. If you want one of the units, I guess actually that's due to urgent orders, can move twice its normal distance. Yeah. So yeah, you can have a think about which unit you want to force march to somewhere else, if you do at all. Hey, Blue Gang, good to have you with us. Here from the start, finally able to stop and enjoy turn. Oh, well done. Good to have you. And fly, is that an option for the French, or is it forced? Well, the way I'm just trying to read it, the way it's written, due to urgent orders, I interpret that as has to be done. That's my interpretation. They've been given orders. They've got to go somewhere. So we'll have to send something to somewhere at the double. I think makes the most sense there. So it is spoken, so it shall be done. Even if it's not quite written, I might just write a note to clarify it as a must do. Cool. There we go. Just in case it happens again. Cool. So yeah, we'll have a think about it and see if there's a brigade. Well, not a brigade, a division, which would be like the reinforcements, or a corps, or a part of a corps that we wish to distribute off to somewhere else, and then we will get them going. Yes. Correct, Luke. Yeah, we'll do that in due course. Next up, we've got the coalition forces. So today, on a roll of a 2, sabotage supply lines. French, I think we've got this before actually, which is quite interesting. French partisans disrupt your supplies, causing 1 unit to suffer -5 movement this turn, which I guess won't necessarily be them, but if it were those Austrians, it would kind of make sense, seeing as they are more or less cut off at the moment. So actually that kind of makes sense. But that was a roll of 2, option 2, supplies, cut, reduced speed. Movement. Cool. Okay, so that's those. Good old partisans. Okay, on to the options for this turn. So I'm just going to flick over to a different page, so I won't be able to see your comments for a few moments. And let's get on to it. Cool. So, Allied turn 6, southwest. So, the option for this area here, option 1 didn't get any votes, and then option 3 and 4 were a draw at 36%, and option 2 was 29%. So let's roll. Where are my dice? There. Cool. So let's roll for these. And we've rolled an 84. And I did my things earlier. So an 84 is option 4. So the winner for this turn is option 4, which is Austrians continue the pursuit north and harass and try and destroy the French, whilst the Russians and Prussians head north to try and link up with the remnants of the Russian force from the previous battle to reinforce the center. Okay, interesting. Next, we've got turn 6 options. Let me just draw that on the map so we can remember they're going to be going sort of in that direction, and they're going to be going that direction. Okay, and they're going that way. All right, what did I say? Turn 6 options, French south. So again, this time for the French down here. So we had the 4 options. Option 1 and option 4 both had 11%. Option 3 had 28%, and option 2 had 50%. So I think rather than eradicating everything, like option 1 and option 4, we'll just let this one go equally. So where's those dice? And we've rolled a 95. Cool. So that gives us French option 4. Okay, which is split the forces. Okay, so they are asking us to send half of our forces down to Sens, and half of our forces keep going north to get to that sort of river crossing. Okay, interesting. Next up, we've got turn 6 options for the French in the center. So with 7% of the vote, option 4 gets dropped. And then we had option 2 and 3, which both had 33%, and option 1, which had 27%. So, and we've rolled a 60, 64, and this was Central French. 64 is option 2. Option 2 is Napoleon attacks the Austrians, while Ney attacks the Russians. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Then we've got the coalition east, which is these chaps. And they have got, option 1 on 31%, option 3 on 19%, and option 2 on 50%. There's only 3 options here. So I would say personally this time we just leave all of the options available just because there's only 3 of them. And they actually all got a reasonable number of votes. 48. So 48, and this was what? The East. Cool, is option 2. So option 2, Blucher moves south to try and engage Ney. So he goes that way. Before he can link up with Napoleon. And so he does get initiative, so he will be able to move quicker. It depends on how we use those 2 free French moves in the center as to whether it's Napoleon who goes or Ney to see who gets caught. And is there another allied central 6 options? Okay. In the center, with 12% of the vote, option 3 will drop. Option 1 and option 4 had 24% each, and option 2 on 41%. Let's see what our orders are. We've got a 35. Cool. 35 is option 2. So option 2 is Russians hold the river crossing, and now they're obviously awaiting reinforcements, whilst the Austrians head central to destroy supply lines and reinforcements. Okay. Oh, wait, no, am I reading that wrong? Yes, I am reading that wrong. Sorry. Russians still hold and await reinforcements, whilst Austrians move across to try and block these sort of river crossings. Okay. I think that is it. Yeah, that's the last turn. Cool. Coming back to live. All right, where are we with our comments? Where did we get to? More rain. Yeah, 2 weeks of storms makes everything soggy. Now the scary dice rolls. Yeah, the Russians and Prussians are eating up everything in the countryside. Been driving. Where are we? That can be decided once the actual votes. Fingers crossed. Great partisans, peasants. Man, that's a long march to unite with the Russians. I know. Disastrous decision. Not ideal for, not too good for the French. The central region is where the Allies are in trouble, that's for sure. And splitting our forces, just as we had momentum as well. The dice gods spit in my face. Yeah, they do. And hey, Blutgang and Austrians are making their supply situation even worse. I know. I know. But at least if they can get to a town and stay there for a few turns, they'll actually be able to just ravage that town, and that'll help them with their supplies rather than being stuck in the middle of the countryside. So could work to their benefit if they actually get there. Cool. So let's have a look at what we said. In the east, obviously, Blucher's got the initiative, so he can just move freely on himself. So let's just start east and move across. Ney to get the jump with bonus and center. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll use Ney's bonuses to head towards the Russians. We'll use Blucher who's going to be going after them. Napoleon is then going to be going simultaneously with the Austrians. We said are going to split, so half will be going that way, half will be going that way, and they'll be coming up. Cool. So just so it's easy for me, we'll start off with Blucher. Coalition players, do you want him to force march? Although he will be moving simultaneously with Ney. And likewise, French players, do you want Ney to be force marching or just a regular march, since it's not actually that far to the river crossing? Cool. So we want Blucher to force march. Cool. Where's my D10? Is that it? No. I just had it right there. Cool. There we go. D10. Forced marches, coalition armies. And it's clear weather, so coalition armies. Here we go. On a 1 to 4, they fail. Okay, so no forced march from Blucher, unfortunately. But can his Russian allies who are in with him manage it? Yes, they can. Okay, so Blucher is just going to be going at the regular speed minus a bit because of the bad weather. So he will go and get to basically just where they are. Whereas these force marching chaps will be going They can go up to double, so they could go, technically, they could go up to 10. So there's your question or conundrum for the coalition players. Do you wish for these two forces to completely split and have the Russians march on to engage Ney? Because Ney will be at the bridge. That's going to happen because they were moving simultaneously. It's now to these guys with their force march just keep up, or do they overtake and go on the offensive? So I'll leave that one for you just to think for a second. Hey, Will, good to have you with us. Thanks for joining. Force March Blucher, Rats. Well. Couriers keep getting sidetracked by the local ladies. Exactly. No, consolidate on Blucher, need to catch a breather. So just keep the Russians and the Prussians together. Oh, okay. So we got a split opinion there. All right. So unless anyone else wants to chime in, I'll do a dice roll, and on a 1, 2, 3, they'll continue, and on a 4, 5, or 6, they'll stay. Cool. I'll just give you guys a couple of seconds in case anyone else wants to comment on that whilst I get our red coalition dice. Let's consolidate. Okay, cool. All right. We will just get to that point and they can stop. That's good. Which means because they haven't actually force marched, they've just moved at normal speed, they won't take any cohesion loss, which actually they wouldn't have done on their roll of a 9 anyway, so they're fine. Cool. So that's that little group. Now we've got Napoleon. Do we want, as any French players, do you want Napoleon to try and force march after the Austrians? Get stuck in. And likewise, coalition players, do you want the Austrians to force march? I would say it probably makes sense to try and escape, but your choice. Okay. Try and escape. I do agree with you there. Okay, cool. Unless anyone else comments, by the time I roll the dice, we will force march them. Yeah, force march on both sides. Austrians need to. Okay, it's force marches all around. Cool. 9. The Austrians get off without any issue. So that's going to be a 10 for them. So that's very good. They are able to sneak away and get all the way over. Who did we say was in the southwest? Okay, the French did get their initiative there, so that might be a sort of simultaneous arrival situation. We'll come back to that in a second. Napoleon, how does he do? Oh, he rolls 2. French do not force march this turn for at least one of his corps. And how about the second? So for the French, 1 corps, no force march. The 2nd corps can. So again, French player, do you wish the forces to separate or stay united? And I'll just move them both 5 to start with. Cool. So that's their base move. And if you want them to separate, we can move the others on. But if you don't, they'll stay put and unite. Over to this side, let's go with the southern forces. Stay united. Cool. All right, they'll just stay put as is. Down here, the Russians and Prussians, force march or regular march? I would say if the orders are to try and link up, if they manage to get it, they will be able to march all the way up and join. No? So you don't want it, Marks. That's fine. Anyone else wish to chime in? So yeah, if they don't force march, they'll get to about there. And if they force march, they'll get all the way up. So yep, that's up to you guys. Try it. Cool. We've got 1 for a try. Mark, did you want to change your mind, or are you sticking with no? Yeah, if they are. Cool. All right, let's go for it. We've got 2 votes in favor. And we rolled an 8, which is on a 5 to 7. On an 8 to 10, no losses, so they make it up. Cool. So one of them definitely makes it, and then the second one makes it again with no losses. Cool. So they make it. That's no problem. So if there is an engagement, which there will be because Ney is engaging them, they will be coming on as reinforcements. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens. And then finally, we've got these ones here. So what did I say? We had the Austrians who were ordered to pursue the French, and the French who were ordered to split their forces. That's gone from a really good position for the French to a really poor position for the French, all in the turn. Interesting. All right. But the French do have initiative there out of those guys. So Are the French going to do a regular march, or are they going to be force marching? Over to you, Luke, specifically, but also any other French players. Dice gods have turned in our favour. I know. It's a fickle thing, isn't it, fate? Nasty battle at the river crossing. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one now, because if the French can break through, they'll pretty well probably, I would say, annihilate those guys. They might be able to withdraw. If they're unable to break through, they'll be stuck there depleted, with then two pretty reasonably strong corps coming in on top of them and could destroy them next turn. So interesting. Yeah, it was a disastrous choice. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So Luke, decisions. Are we force marching? Maybe the guard force marching to try and get to the river crossing to beat the Austrians, which means they'd actually arrive simultaneously. Or are we just going regular speed and the other corps, they can do whatever they want? I would say probably those guys can just do a regular march, because that'll take them to, basically, if one of them goes that way, they get to about there. So they don't really need to force march, they're just marching normally, whilst the guard who are heading north, again, they can get there without force marching. So yeah, I think basically without a force march, they will be really arriving at more or less the same time. And then we've got the Austrians here, who will just need to force march. So we will have to attempt to force march the Austrians to catch them. But again, we're going to have an interesting river battle here. Cool. So force march. Cool. First corps gets off, no casualties. And second corps, same again, catches them, no casualties. Need to that force march to catch them. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So that's all of the regular movements done. Now we've got reinforcements. So we've got this turn for the coalition, they've got a cavalry brigade and an artillery battery. And I'm thinking we roll a 2, 4, 6, and a D8. Where's my D8? And on a 2, they come from the far north. 3, 4, they come from here. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I mean, these guys don't have any orders at the moment, so they can be dispatched to wherever they're needed. So, yeah, if we want them to go down to assist, then that's an option. I'll just roll for the reinforcements for the coalition to find out where they're entering. And 8, what did I say? 2, 4, 6, 8. So they will be coming on down there. And they will be able to go 5. So again, just coalition players have a think. Do you want these to go along the direct western route? Do you want them to try and head up this way? Have a think about how you want them to go. I'm not sure that the coalition have not enrolled some of Jackson's foot cavalry. I know, this turn they are really doing it. The Austrian force center was turned into bait and distract. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Luke, you were wanting these guys to move down. All right. So they will, if they want to have any potential chance of impact in this battle, will need to attempt to force march, though. Okay. So where's the dice? For the guys at the front, who I'm pretty sure are infantry, they've rolled a 5. Forced march, French armies, D4. Okay, so they can make it, but they will take a bit of loss. So they will arrive and they'll go down that way. That one there is artillery, infantry and artillery. Cool, that's fine. So they're going to be the same. And they make it with no issue. But I don't think they're going to be able to make it at all, to be honest with you. That's going to get them to 6, 7, 8, 9, and then they've got 4 more. They're going to be just shy. They're going to be about there when the battle's taking place. Never mind. Quite close. Depending on the outcome of the battle, they could be very useful next turn. All right, what have we got? We have that order anyway. I think that covers. Oh, yes, we've got that order. They can double march. Cool. Yeah, there you go. Easy. Boom. In they go. that was that's actually a very good reminder there, Luke, for the random event for the French. So cool. What a complete mess that is. Coalition players, sorry, have you commented on your reinforcements? Cavalry would be best used with Blucher. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think if that's the case, we can move them. They can go 7, which is slightly more than the infantry. So that would basically get them to about there. So they're not quite there, unless you want a force march, in which case we can attempt it. But at this stage, yeah, kind of up to you guys. Because they haven't made it into combat, force marching them to catch up might not be the best. But then again, if we've got this messy battle going on here, having more troops arriving might be, but no. Okay, cool. So interesting, very interesting turn. This game is very, I'm not sure, I was going to say interesting, but I've said that 3 times in a row. But the way it keeps changing backwards and forwards. 2 turns ago, I was like, the coalition have it. I don't think the French can do anything. Last turn, with their win, the French controlled the center, and I was like, the French have got it now. There's nothing that the coalition can do to stop this. And now this turn, it's all turned up into the air. It could now literally go in anywhere. I mean, if the guard get destroyed there, then boom, that's pretty well the strongest core gone. But equally, if the guard win, that could be most of the coalition Austrians gone. Here, Ney could win and be free, or he could get caught and destroyed. Yeah, really interesting situation, but very fun. And I'm glad that you're all joining us and reminding me when I'm making forgetful points with random events and whatnot, but also just your input and the strategic decisions. It's very interesting and very fun. I actually think it's playing out realistically. I agree. Yeah, I love it because like with history, whenever you look at the campaigns and things, stuff goes really well, and then some random event happens which screws everything up. And yeah, this is playing out just like that. So yeah, I like it. Luke, it was all looking so good. I know. Better than if you tried to write a script. Yeah, I like it. I think it's been going really nicely. And then a lot of the time, I enjoy the fact that when the random events get rolled, you can kind of see how sort of in whatever you call those, bunny ears or whatever. Like today, bad partisan activity, you could say, oh, well, yes, the Austrians are cut off from everyone else, so partisan activity is going to affect them quite badly. And these just different things that happen. So yeah, the story, the script is all playing out, and you can see how it works. Still can work, Luke, if Nappy supports Ney. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that area there is going to be the key, I think, to the campaign. But is it going to be the, do I dare say it? This could be the turn that changes everything, because every single turn seems to be the turn that's changing everything. Any impact from Napoleon would from artillery fire. I want Napoleon and to unite. The vote went against me and split the forces everywhere. Yeah. If they were together, that would be a whole different ball game. If they were together, that would be a whole different ball game. Yeah, this turn, the moves have actually gone, I would say, overwhelmingly in the Allies' favor. I mean, even there, originally, when I came up with the idea, I was like, it's a useful move to try and unite those troops, but maybe it's not the best move. But actually, now that I can see it on the board, now that it's happened, actually, it seems like it was quite a worthwhile action to do. So, very interesting. No, you can't. Yeah. But no, that's pretty cool. So, yes, we're going to have 2 very complicated, dirty battles. However, I am now going to be away. I fly back to New Zealand on the 10th of Feb. So we will be able to go live that week. But I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to fight the battles until that weekend. So watch out on Facebook and I'll give you the updates on what's happening. I may just do a live session that Friday, but we won't have any battle update, just an update sort of on what we're doing, so that we're all kind of still sort of on the same picture. But I will have a think about that whilst I'm away, and that way we can make sure it gets all done properly. Yep, thank you very much. I hope it goes well myself. And I hope that you guys have a good few weeks in the middle. We could say this is kind of like what was it in 1813, where they had the sort of the pause halfway through the campaign before it then recommenced, and you had Leipzig. So this is it. All the commanders there negotiating at the moment. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it, and I hope it's going to go well. And thank you, Mark. Yeah, thanks everyone. I hope it's going to go well as well. So I will see you all in a few weeks, but I will be still posting up on Facebook in general. So keep in touch. But thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your coming weekend, and I'll see you in a few weeks. Cool. Take care. Thanks, guys.